From Pac-Man to Pikmin, nerds like a lot of things, but there's something they love above all else, and that is correcting people. This is Actually. Joining us today, we have Eric Voss.
Hi! I'll know some things, but not everything.
Setting expectations exactly where he wants them. Perfect. We also have MT from New Rockstars.
Hey, what's going on, fellow nerds? What's poppin'?
And we've got Jay Washington.
I'm happy to be here, and clearly so are the landscapers outside of my building. They are not a part of my answer crew, so actually, I have no idea why they're here right now.
We're going to expect you to move your camera at the end of the episode, just show us how beautiful the lawn looks at least. It's like, okay, that was worth it, you know, like that grass is nice and short, everything looks beautiful out there. This is Actually, Eric and Jay, you've played an episode before. MT, you're joining us for the first time here, but the rules are very simple. I have a stack of statements. These are incorrect statements about a bunch of nerdy shit. It is up to you to find what's wrong, buzz in, and correct me. There's only two rules. Your correction must be preceded with the phrase, actually. You don't say that Jeopardy style, I won't give you the point. And you can interrupt me at any point.
I'm feeling ready to correct some nerds.
Great.
I'm just very happy to be here with a bottle of water. That's all I know. Hydration.
Hey, I got my water too. I got a cup.
Well, this episode is brought to you by water. Water, it's all around us.
It's 70% of what's in our body, apparently.
It's all around us for now until it becomes commoditized.
That's true, yeah.
Coming.
Everyone's talking about crypto. Invest in water. You should start hoarding water now.
This sounds like Total Recall reboot after the reboot about to happen. Yo, make sure you invest in water. There's a Velos Cohagen waiting on the other side of this for you.
With that, we'll go ahead and get started. Buzzers at the ready, and I will give you your first statement here. Predaliens are genetically engineered hybrids of predator and xenomorph DNA that first appeared in the comic Aliens vs. Predator Duel, before showing up on screen for the first time in the first Alien vs. Predator movie. MT's buzzed in.
Actually, they didn't debut in the comic. They debuted later on in some other thing that I don't know. I accidentally buzzed in.
I was like, you buzzed in very quick, but you don't sound very confident.
No, it was an accidental buzz in, so I just rolled with it.
Well, that is incorrect. But Eric and Jay have both buzzed in that order. So Eric, what do you have?
I'll take a Xenomorph tail stab at this one and say... actually, they did not appear in the first Alien vs. Predator. They showed up in Alien vs. Predator Requiem?
That's a good guess, but a Predalien does appear in the first Alien vs. Predator. It's just in, like, the very last, frame of the movie is like, oh, and here's this thing. Not a huge part of it, more featured in the second, but it does appear at least a little bit there. Jay?
Actually, this wasn't created. An alien just impregnated a predator that was fighting everybody in the first Alien vs. Predator movie. They wasn't trying to put these two together. The predators was hunting these things.
That's basically correct, yeah. I said that they were genetically engineered. They're not genetically engineered. Just the way aliens work, they naturally meld.
That predator looks like somebody I grew up with. I swear I do. That looked like a dude I grew up with. Them dreads, them dreads. You see that dreads in that forehead? That is somebody off 79th Street in Chicago. I swear to God, that is a dude I know by Nick Skyro.
I've seen him.
Well, that point will go to Jay for identifying the origin of Predaliens.
Nice.
We'll move on to our next question here. If you're watching WandaVision, you're also watching ads for some fabulous products, including the Toastmate 2000 by Stark Industries, Agamotto wristwatches, Hydra soap, Lagos paper towels, and Yo Magic yogurt. MT, Eric, and Jay have all buzzed in, but MT is first.
Actually, Agamotto wristwatches was not an ad in that show.
That is correct. Do you know what it was? I'll give you the point. There was a wristwatch in there. Do you know what?
I know what it was. That's what we.
It was those Swiss the Swiss wrist watches. Good God!
It's like an acting vocal exercise. The Swiss wrist watches.
But those were actually like a Zola and like Hydra Easter egg, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually, it was which one of us get it?
Both Eric and Jay are like dancing in their seats.
No, like the Swiss part of the watch is a shout out to Zola, But the actual watch
So much
is...
dancing here.
No? Okay. All right, let's go. They're doing the pee dance. You gotta let them release it out.
Well, now, empty. Usually, what I do in these situations, I say, if you, I'll give you the point unless none of your competitors know a more specific answer. I see both Eric and Jay dancing a lot. Eric buzzed in first, so I am going. So I'm gonna say the point is yours unless Eric can tell me what
I
it should
Eric
be.
is
So
going
Eric,
to
what you
steal
got
this
here?
point.
Actually, it was not an Agamotto watch. It was a Strucker watch.
That is correct. It was a Strucker watch.
is correct.
That's why me and both Eric was like, we know exactly what it is. It is a Von Strucker.
The Swiss part of the watch is a shout out to Zola, I feel, anyway, in my heart.
Yeah.
Who is
Yeah, but that's
Swiss.
not the point. It was all about the Strucker.
When we see that watch, it's set to 242, which some people say is a reference to Avengers 242, which features both Wanda and Vision in there. I don't know. It feels like you can find a lot of numbers that would do that. Maybe it's intentional, though. There's a lot of attention to detail in there. You argue about it in the comments. MT had the first half, but Eric was able to get a little bit more specific, so we're going to give that point to him. But there's plenty more chances to get points here. We'll move on to our third statement here. The Sword of Shannara by Terry Brooks was the first published book in the Shannara series. The series takes place long ago in a medieval fantasy world called the Four Lands, where elves, dwarves, gnomes, and trolls live. The story follows Shay Omsford's quest to obtain the titular Sword of Shannara.
I'm going to take the answer.
MT, yeah.
Actually, it was the Mushroom Kingdom.
It was not the Mushroom Kingdom. Would love to see the weird high fantasy version of Mario that is just like Game of Thrones meets Mario. Or,
you know it's on the way. You know it's on the way.
Eric, you have an answer?
I'll say it's not the Four Lands, it's the Poor Blands.
It is not the Poor Blands. Sorry to say.
I'm gonna jump on the rest of this shrapnel. I'm gonna jump on the rest of it then.
All right, Jay.
Actually, this was just another 4 chances for Manu Bennett to have another career. No, that's not it. No, okay.
It's not
okay,
what we're looking
remember
for.
Manu Bennett in the MTV version of the show? No, okay, cool. All right, I'm just gonna be by myself on that one.
I could be wrong on this. I'm pretty sure the deal with that, part of the deal with that was that like MTV had purchased the rights to Shannara like ages ago, and then like they were just about to run out, and it was like Game of Thrones was going on. People were like, oh shit, people like fantasy now, and they just like rushed through the production of the show, and then like I think it premiered at like midnight on like a Sunday or something, and it was just like, what is happening? Like it seemed like it was just like we're just trying to keep the as long as we make it, we can keep the rights, and we'll just make that, and then we'll figure out what to do with it later.
Fantastic Four. That sound like Fox with
Yeah, truly. I think it is.
Back in the day, like, yo, we need to make a movie. Have your 8-year-old design Dr. Doom now. Do something. Get Michael B. Jordan for what? Just get him. What? No.
Just make it straight to VHS.
We all know you make the best art when you're under a legal gun, you know? It's like, you have to make this now. We'll call this one, no points for this one. The answer I was looking for was that I said this took place long ago in a medieval fantasy world, and it has that vibe. It's very like, people have called it like just a straight knockoff of Lord of the Rings, where it's like, you can do like one-to-one comparisons of it. But in fact, in the lore of Shannara, it takes place in the Pacific Northwest in the future. It is a like post-apocalyptic future that just happens somehow.
To be in Seattle?
I guess Seattle turns into Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Wow.
If you've ever seen downtown Seattle at night, I get it.
Yeah. We've had some trolls from Seattle who have tweeted me.
Okay.
So, yeah, that might be present day.
Yeah, everyone's like watching these elves go by. And they're like, "Yeah, keep Portland weird." Am I right? And it's like, no, wait, no, this is really weird though. This isn't like kind of cute weird. This is like fucking elves, man. Well, this will bring us to our next statement here. This question comes to us from Baybop. Thank you, Baybop, for submitting this question. In the Animal Crossing games, your sweet animal villagers celebrate many holidays as the year goes by. Throughout the series, these celebrations have included Toy Day, Lottie Day, Bunny Day, Thanksgiving, Festivale, Yay Day, and even spring cleaning. Jay and MT close behind. Jay.
Actually, sorry, Jalea, Daddy loves you. Lottie Day is not a day.
Lottie Day is a day. That is a real holiday that can take place in Animal Crossing. NT.
Actually, spring cleaning is not one of those.
Spring cleaning is an in-game holiday that you can celebrate.
I'm a fake fan. Fake fan.
Eric, I don't see you haven't buzzed in, but do you want to take a stab here?
I'm just gonna double down with Jay and say that Lottie Day's not a game. I hope numbers will convince you to side with us.
I love the strategy of just refusing to believe. It's like, no, that's too stupid.
It's like we must gaslight.
MT.
Actually, it's not Thanksgiving.
That is correct.
It's period.
It's like, are you going to add more? And it's like, no, you are
Nope,
not.
because I don't know what it is.
Well, as before, like, you're correct. So I'll give you the point. You can either lock it in if you can guess what it actually is, or someone else can scoop the point if they can tell me what it actually is.
I would guess maybe Turkey Day, but
That's correct. Turkey Day is.
Oh my God! Thank you.
You got
That was for you, Isabel. Love you, girl. I mean, she's not dead. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah,
She's not dead. She's with us.
What did you do to Isabel?
us.
What did you do to Isabel?
Oh my God. You know too much.
That feels like a power move. If you're just like constantly doing that for people who aren't dead, especially when they're in the same room as you, it's like, what the fuck?
Right?
Hey, you're dead to me,
Hey, man.
MT will get that point for identifying Turkey Day
right.
instead of Thanksgiving. Also a little dark because your special visitor on Turkey Day is in fact a turkey, because they're all, it's Animal Crossing. So you do sort of wonder, like, well, what is Turkey Day in Animal Crossing, and what are you going to do to this poor visitor?
Turkey?
Yeah,
Turkey.
Well, we'll move right along here. And this will bring us to our first shiny question. Shiny questions, like shiny Pokemon, are worth the same number of points. They're just a little bit different and a little bit rarer. Here's the shiny question we're just going to call A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Far, Far Away, because we are going to test your knowledge of the Star Wars opening crawls. I'm going to give you just the first sentence of the opening crawls from every Star Wars movie and ask you to identify which movie it came from. Whoever can get the most will get the point.
Okay.
Let's take a look at that first one. This is the first sentence of one of these movies. Everyone is buzzed in, but Eric is first. Fast on that buzzer.
Actually, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
That is correct. That one will go to Eric. Let's take a look at that second one. It is a period of civil war. Everyone is buzzed in, but Jay is first.
Actually, Episode 4.
That is correct. That is A New Hope. I only have the titles on here and not the numbers, so I have to quick do the math. That is Episode 4. Let's take a look at our next sentence. Luke Skywalker has vanished. Eric is first.
Actually, Episode 7, The Force Awakens.
That is The Force Awakens, yes.
Dang.
Let's take a look at the next sentence. It's a dark time for the Rebellion. Rebellion's going through some shit right now. MT is first.
Actually, Episode 6?
That is incorrect.
No!
Eric has buzzed in second.
Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
That is Empire Strikes Back.
I knew that was Empire.
All right, let's take a look at our next sentence here. Turmoil has engulfed the Galactic Republic. We have Jay first.
Actually, Episode 8.
Incorrect. Eric is next.
Actually, Episode 1, Phantom Menace.
That is Phantom Menace, yes. Yes, indeed.
Nice.
All
nice.
right, let's take a look at the next one. There is unrest in the Galactic Senate. MT.
Actually, that is Episode 2.
That is 2, Attack of the Clones.
Woo!
This is the one where they gave Jar Jar Binks way too much power.
He was the key to all of it.
There's that fan theory that is like Jar Jar Binks is a secret Sith and like tracking everything and being like, if you
wish
if you
that
watch
that's what they
him,
did for the sequels.
Yeah, he's still stoking my headcanon.
let's take a look at that next sentence. The First Order reigns. Everyone's buzzed in. Eric is first.
Actually, Episode 8.
That's 8.
The Last Jedi.
That is The Last
That's 8.
Jedi.
That's 8.
Here's our next one. Luke Skywalker has returned to his home planet of Tatooine in an attempt to rescue his friend Han Solo from the clutches of the vile gangster Jabba the Hutt. All one sentence there, everyone is buzzed in. That is Jay.
Actually, that's episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Oh, or did I just say that like a dummy?
That is not episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
That is not 3. Oops, my bad. That is actually.
Eric, what do you have?
Actually, episode 6, Return of the Jedi.
That's what my brain
That
was.
is correct.
My brain was like Return, but I kept thinking 3.
Come
I'm like,
on,
ooh.
Jay. Come on,
it's
Jay.
like poetry,
Luke
it
Skywalker
rhymes.
was a baby in episode 3.
Excuse me. Again, MT.
crawled
Ain't
his way
not
home to
Nam, ain't not
Tatooine.
Nam Star Wars posted behind me. Ain't a Darth Vader, ain't a lightsaber in this house. I barely
Yo,
got
Jay's
light
keeping it
bulbs.
real right now.
I barely got light bulbs. So if I get it wrong, that's on y'all. Don't you blame me right now. They was doing lawn maintenance in front of my house. I couldn't focus. Next question.
These are all valid points, Jay.
We only have one left. Eric's pretty much locked it up, but let's go ahead. Let's do this last one. The dead speak. Jay.
That's episode 9, Rise of Skywalker.
That is episode 9, Rise
Nice.
of Skywalker.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of those very similar. A lot of those opening things are like, war! It's time for war again. There's sure is some unrest in this area, and the Galactic Senate is unrestful this time. They're all like that except for like, okay, so Luke Skywalker went to, here's a full long,
He was on
so
his way
Han
to
Solo's
Tatooine,
missing,
you
and then he
know.
went here.
On that one, maybe George Lucas was on speed because he just wanted to get as much into one sentence before he punctuated it. He's like, hold on. And then he goes to Jabba the Hutt, and it's on Tatooine. It's his home planet. What else? What else? What else? What else?
Yeah, just all these like big reveals. It's like, wait, what the hell's going on? They do kind of do that in Rise of Skywalker. It's like, hey, Palpatine's back. Don't fucking worry about it. We're moving on. Oh, all right. Sure. Well, that point goes to Eric. And what is our point spread looking like right now? Eric with 2, Jay and MT both with 1. So pretty close still, pretty tight. Here's our next statement. In Nemesis Games, the 5th book of the Expanse series, Marco Inaros of the Free Navy launches a nuclear weapon at Earth that wreaks planet-wide destruction and kills over 15 billion people. MT.
I'm gonna say that it wasn't 15 billion people killed. It was more. It was a different number than that.
No, that's not the answer we're looking for. Jay and then Eric.
Actually, it's not the 5th book of the series. It's the 4th. That's the best answer I can come up with on a short amount of time.
No, I'm sorry. That's not the answer we're looking for. Eric, what do you got?
Actually, it's not planet-wide destruction. It just leaves a few really pissed off survivors.
There are some survivors, but there's some. It's destruction on a planetary level.
Okay,
So
okay.
that is there. Well, we'll go ahead and call that one because it seems like we're sort of flailing a little bit here. The answer I was looking for is that it wasn't a nuclear weapon. It was just 3 smallish rocks. The idea of Expanse is like, if you imagine like an asteroid hitting Earth, like that'll kill the dinosaurs, that'll cause nuclear winter, that'll do this, and part of the sort of almost Cold War type politics that takes place in the book series is like, look, if you throw a rock, like a brick, like a rock the size of a brick at a planet, and it actually hits, it doesn't burn up in the atmosphere, that will basically like destroy a planet. You don't need a giant like Death Star to destroy a planet. You just need a big rock.
Well, you've just gone ahead and started a new serial killer and supervillain from space. Just somebody
You
could
made
be on a
that sound
space
like-
shuttle just with rocks like left.
I think that's the same premise as Rookie of the Year, right? It's just if you have an elastic healing anomaly in your arm, you can throw fastballs in the
Right?
major leagues.
It sounded oddly inspirational. I was like, you know what? Maybe I can destroy a planet. if
All
I
you
throw
need is a rock. You just need a rock and a dream, and
believe
you
in
can
yourself.
destroy Earth. It's like the more you know, like ending comes up with a star just keeps going and lands on Earth. It's like, oh shit!
That's amazing. I hope someone actually makes that because that's hilarious.
Well, no points for that one, but we'll move right along here. Here is our next statement. The Assassin's Creed video game series features a device called the Animus Machine, a fictional piece of tech that lets anyone project a 3-dimensional recreation of any point in history. MT is buzzed in.
Actually, it's any point in their ancestors' history.
That is basically what we're going for. Yes, it's not that anyone can do this at any point in history. It has to be limited to the genetic memory of that specific person. Feels like it would really suck to like strap yourself into this machine and just learn that your ancestors did fuck all forever. It's like yeah, strap me in, show me what happened. And it's like guy kind of sat at a desk for his whole life and he had big dreams, but he never really achieved them. And then he died. It's like, oh fuck, come on.
Yeah, I think if you go any further than one generation back, it's like, wow, every one of my ancestors is problematic in some way. I can't get me back to the present, please. Just everything they believe is wrong now.
It's like, hey, you want to see this part of your history? It's like, we don't need to see that. We could just,
Can we skip it? It's like, go further. It's like, ugh, can we just keep skipping?
MT gets that point, and we will move to our next statement here. The Beastmaster is a 1982 sword and sorcery movie about a man named Dar who can communicate with animals. He's accompanied by an eagle named Sharak, 2 ferrets named Kodo and Podo, and a wolf named Ra. Jay is buzzed in.
Actually, he's accompanied by a saber-toothed tiger, not an eagle.
He does have an eagle. He does have an eagle with him.
Okay, dang. Never assume someone doesn't have an eagle, Jay. Never assume.
I remember the saber-toothed tiger.
Here's the thing,
I know
though, Jay.
this is a Mark Singer movie. Like, I remember this a little bit.
I had to take a moment to think about it, but I think I might give you the point for this, which is because you were correcting the wrong thing, but you did have the right correction. You said he didn't have an eagle and that he had a saber-toothed tiger. The correct answer is that he didn't have a wolf, he had a tiger. I think you're close enough. I'm just going to go ahead and give you the point for that one.
Blessings.
But Jay, you're familiar with Beastmaster.
Yeah, it's a Mark Singer movie. Again, don't judge me. I was very sheltered as a child, okay? Used to come on WGN. Shouts out to my mama being overprotective and not letting me go outside on a Saturday, okay?
Yo, same here, though. Same
I made
here.
a Beastmaster TV series. That's how much I remember.
The reason I want to talk about this was when they were filming, they didn't shoot with a panther. They shot with a tiger that they dyed black. Which is like, what are you doing? Just get a panther.
First of all, how pissed off was this tiger?
Yeah.
He's looking in the mirror like, what the fuck, man?
Just in the
When do we get this out my fur? Like,
in the credits of that movie, it's just Tiger Dyer, Tiger Dyer,
Yeah.
Tiger Dyer. 12 of them.
Although maybe it's like a nice day at the salon, like the tiger's just hanging out, like chatting with the dye artist. It's like God, it takes so long to get into
his
makeup.
paws
But
up.
yeah.
he got his paws up and like this.
full mani pedi, and just like.
Oh my God.
No, apparently tigers are easier to train than panthers. So they're like, okay, well, we can get a tiger and dye it black, and that will be this. Well, with that, we will go on to our second shiny question of the game. Our second shiny question. This is a game that we call What's Wrong with This Picture? We've taken an image and digitally altered it in some way. It's up to you to identify what is wrong with the image. Let's see. Jay and
God.
Eric have buzzed in.
Actually, the 2020 Tokyo Olympics didn't happen.
I knew someone would say that, but this is from a promotional still that didn't know that at the time, so that is not incorrect. Eric, do you have an answer?
Actually, Wario and Dr. Robotnik are in different game universes.
They are in different game universes, but this is for. I should have double checked exactly what game this is for.
Oh God.
No, it's Mario and Sonic at the Tokyo Olympics or something like that.
Yeah.
So like they're supposed to be together.
Yeah. We didn't do that. MT, do you have an answer?
Actually,
Yes.
Wario's belly button is missing.
Oh, you're so close. You're definitely on the right fucking track. I'll tell you that much. That's not what we're looking for.
Actually, their horrifying nipples have been reduced.
That's not it, but you're also close, Jay.
Actually, they're missing their nipple rings.
Oh my God.
Listen, you're all on the right track. MT,
Oh my
I'll give you
God.
one more stab if you want it.
Actually, his feet are smaller?
That's incorrect. We'll go ahead and call it here. No points for this one. Some of you were very close. It's a very small change that we made, which is that Wario doesn't actually have any nipples. We've added nipples. Which is the kind of thing you might be able to brush off as being just like, okay, like that's just the design of the character, you know, it's like he's just like a cartoon character, so why should so it's only weird because Dr. Robotnik does have nipples.
Yeah.
So it's like they took the time to give Robotnik nipples, but not Wario. It's like just this weird smoothness all the way down. It's like, what is happening here? What are these choices that you have made?
It might have been in Robotnik's contract. He's like, if I'm ever displayed shirtless, you gotta have my nipples in there.
No points for that one, unfortunately, but we learned more than we wanted to about Wario's nipples. Here is our next statement. One of the recurring characters in Aladdin the Animated Series is Fasir, a blind beggar who wears a bandage over his eyes and can prophesy the future. His brother is Fashum, a giant with laser vision. Okay, everyone's buzzed in. Eric is first.
Actually, the brother's name is not Fashum. Could have reached into Greek mythology here and say the brother's name is Cyclops.
That's incorrect. Incorrect. Jay.
Actually, the brother is not a giant.
The brother is a giant. Yeah.
Okay.
That is incorrect. MT.
Actually, the brother does not have laser vision. He has a different kind of vision, 20/20 vision.
He doesn't have laser vision, and also he is a Cyclops, so I don't think, I think having 20/20 vision would be pretty hard if you were a Cyclops. So I don't know exactly how those work, but I think we can guarantee not 20/20 vision for him. I knew this one would be a weird one. Who remembers the details of Aladdin? I just kind of wanted to talk about it. The answer I was looking for was Fasir is not blind. He does wear a bandage over his face, but it's to hide the fact that he too is a Cyclops. He has just one big ol' eye, but he is not a giant, so he can pass as human if he disguises his eye. No points for that one. But we will keep on moving here. Remember what it was like to be a kid? You might if you watch E.T. The entire film is shot at the height of a child's eye line, and while adults are present throughout the film, you never actually see any of their faces. Eric has buzzed in.
Actually, you do see the mom's face, the faces of several scientists in that movie.
You got the specific one right. You only ever see the face of one adult in E.T., and that is the mom's face. But that's the only one. Everyone else, you do see adults, but you only ever see them from behind, or they're in shadow, or it's like Peanut style, where it's just like you just see legs, but you don't see like anything above, like this sort of like Tom and Jerry kind of thing.
Wow. That's not
insane.
including E.T. though. E.T. is an adult with a very inappropriate relationship with Elliot. If you look into this.
E.T. is 187 years old. Elliot is 11.
I had this pitch that I wanted to do at College Humor that everyone was like, this idea is too stupid and too crazy. We're never gonna make this. It's like, I do think it's funny though. Basically do E.T. where it's like, little boy befriends alien story. But the alien is like a David Bowie style man who fell to Earth, just like a glam rocker who's just sort of like, I'm here from space. And it's like, I'm the only one who understands him. And everyone's just like, stay away from my son. What are you doing? It's like, oh, me? It's all stardust and love and magic.
Right? He's just a weird man. You're not an alien.
Feeding David Bowie Reese's Pieces. Thank you very much, boy. But yeah, this I wasn't aware of the E.T. fact. I wasn't aware of either. It did kind of make me want to watch E.T. because in my mind it's sort of like, oh yeah, of course there's adult characters in there, but they are these sort of like shadowy, like they are more shadowy and inscrutable than the alien is. You know, they're this strange world of adults. That point will go to Eric. This is our last shiny question. So this is a game we're calling Find the Fake. We have here the box art to 6 different video games. 5 of them are completely real. 1 of them is something we've just made up. Whoever can identify the fake one will get the point.
Wow, what are these games? Santa Claus for the PlayStation, a classic, really.
Pirate.
MT has buzzed in.
Actually,
Yes.
Pirate Golf is a fake.
That is correct. Pirate Golf is our fake.
That was the same one I was
game
going to say,
here.
Pirate Golf.
I was gonna say Santa Claus, but I was like, you know what? That's a trick. That's a trick.
I thought that was the only one that was
Pirate
real.
Golf.
I was like, Pirate Golf sounds. I played that on Game Boy. I don't know what it is, but I play it.
I don't know what I Didn't Mum 2 is, but I guess I Didn't Mum was a hit that they just had to fucking bring out the next one.
Wow, she doing it again. She's
Yeah.
doing it again. I did about two.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When did they get Timok from The Last Dragon to do a Game Boy Advance game cover?
Bro, that looks like Jared Leto Joker, my dude.
There was actually like even some discussion about the cover while the game was out. Someone had a reviewer. It's like, I'm just going to review the box art because I can't get over how crazy this thing looks. The game's fine, it's fine, but get a look at this art. What is going on here? Well, MT, you'll get the point for that. Shiny. And what is our point spread looking like as we go into our last question here? MT and Eric with 3 and Jay with 2. Our last question, as always, concerns real life skills. Sure, you know the 50 states, but do you know America's territories? The United States currently administers 12 territories, but only 5 of these are permanently inhabited. American Samoa, Guam, Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Jay is buzzed in.
I'm actually Puerto Rico's a state.
Puerto Rico's not a state. Would be nice, but it is not.
It's not?
It's a territory.
Oh, okay.
MT.
Actually, Washington, D.C. is not a territory.
That is correct. Yeah, you lost your confidence towards the end. Washington, D.C. is its own weird thing. It's not a territory. It's not a state either. It's just its own category of thing. So yes, MT, you'll get the point there for identifying DC as not a territory. All right, 4 for MT, 3 for Eric, 2 for Jay. That makes MT our winner.
Woo!
Well, that is it for this episode. Thank you all for playing with us today, and thank you for watching. Join us next time for even more pedantic corrections here on Actually.